Hello, in this video we are going to discuss the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, or FCPA. It was a law passed at the federal level in the 1970s to combat fraud at the corporate level in federal governments. This is Dave at AFX Search, licensed investigators. A lot of times we investigate fraud and embezzlement from corporations, and one area where this comes up that creates a great deal of liability for any size company is the FCPA, where a company has any type of interaction overseas or in a foreign country. There are very strict laws on what that company or individual can do to promote their firm in other international markets. This can apply to a business or even individuals that are operating overseas. So basically what it says, if you're a person or a company, you cannot pay a bribe or pay any type of illegal inducement to a government agent to get your company either promoted, to obtain business, to keep business, or even increase current business in an international market. If you do that, even if that is an accepted practice in that country, you're breaking federal law. This is something which is prosecuted and investigated by the Department of Justice. It was originally part of the SEC, but the DOJ now prosecutes these crimes, and it's pretty heavy penalties, which can involve steep fines and even forfeiting prior profits if they relied on these types of bribes. Now remember, even if you are giving money to a person overseas who is not technically a government agent, if that money is going to end up with a government agent, you could be liable under the FCPA. So for example, if you give a payment to a banking official with the knowledge that that official is going to grease some palms to get your loan approved at the federal government level, or if you give money to, let's say, a contractor who's going to pay off a building inspector, that could violate FCPA. And some big companies have been involved with this. I know Walmart, Hewlett-Packard have all had issues with the FCPA overseas because one of their employees paid the wrong kind of payment to a person or even offered something of value. It doesn't have to be a direct payment. In some cases, the FCPA is tried to be circumvented by having some other beneficial transaction with a government official. For example, you buy a piece of property for $100,000, and then you sell it to a government official for $50,000 at a loss. So that person has a benefit in that transaction, and it doesn't show as a direct payment. Well, that's technically a payment to a government official, even though it wasn't a direct cash payment. In some instances, a government official is given ownership interest or payment interest in a corporation to kind of give them an incentive to get things moved along in their government, or to approve zoning permits or other types of permits, and that can be looked at as a direct payment to that official, even if there's no cash paid outside of that ownership. So FCPA is serious business. You don't want to mess around with this federal law because prosecutions can involve jail time and serious financial consequences for the payer. And remember, it doesn't have to be an officer. It could be any kind of candidate. It could be any kind of quasi-government agency. Even if you pay it to a corporation rather than an individual, you could be liable. So if you're a business, make sure that all of your practices are audited. Make sure that all of your employees know about FCPA and what they can and can't do. And even if it happens outside the country, it breaks federal laws if the payment is designed to be as a bribe and advance the needs of that company overseas.